Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another juicy cast of TA Escalation goodness. And I will have you guys know that I was inspired by one of my YouTube comments. I guess that you guys love these videos for some reason. I don't really understand why. It doesn't make sense to me. Certainly, you don't deserve these videos. No one in my community deserves any of this, okay? What have you guys done for me? Not only that, what have you done to make the world a better place? Your mere existence is an insult to the essence of the human race. And so it's actually a little bit hurtful to me that I'm making these videos for you, despite the fact that you are living wastes of space. But nonetheless, it seems as though I have some kind of unholy obligation to continue producing this content, because if I don't, I will be harassed through the internet, from the grave and beyond. And since I'd prefer not to have that happen, I suppose I will continue bringing you the videos, though you don't deserve them. And though I have no idea why you guys enjoy these so much, I will make them anyway because no one else is going to do it. As far as I know, well, no, there's other people making escalation videos, but I don't know. All I'm saying is stop harassing me. Here I am. I'm doing this. It's a 2v2. It's on Blood Red Sky. We've got some big talent in this game. Huge, the best talent, the greatest talent in the community. You can trust me. I know what I'm talking about. The map is called Blood Red Sky. It's like a Mars-themed map created by Lemminkainen. As you can see, there's a lot of different metal spots, but they're all very low yield. So that's gonna create sort of an interesting situation. I think in order to play this map correctly, you're gonna have to expand out quite a bit. So anyway. Let me go ahead and introduce the players. Here in the top left, on the Western team, we have Infidel in red, starting K-Bots first. Here in blue, a fan favorite, certainly one of my favorites, Mr. Race, going vehicles first. In bright green, for the Eastern team, we do have Mr. Tasto, who has been impressing me a lot lately in some of the games that I've cast. And finally, last but not least, here in dark green, we have Redox, also arms. So we have almost a full team, only one core player. Seems that Tasto is the only person representing our core contingency. Everyone else will be representing arm. But guys, yeah, I'm not sure what to expect from this. I've never cast this map in particular. There's also a lot of reclaim with these plants strewn around everywhere, and those will give you a little bit of energy if you decide to pick those up. So, yeah, either way, I think this should hopefully pan out to be a great 2v2 game. I'm going to speed it up a little bit just because early on here, I think we're not going to have much of anything except the players just building their early bases and slowly creating their armies so that they can send their waves of aggression against their unwitting opponents. But right now, it's been a pretty quiet start. We're about 5 minutes into the game, and nothing too much has happened yet. We do have Race with a couple of Jeffies here and there being annoying, but nothing too fantastic has happened. There's a single flash here. It has gotten into the business. It will take out a couple mexes, so this is probably the most economic damage that's been done at this point in the game with this one flash. It's certainly annoying. But we do have engagements kind of breaking out all over the map. This flash continuing to be annoying. It's starting to do some real damage now. Tasto is going to have to respond. He does have a couple instigators here. But this flash being microed very well by Race, who is one of our strongest macro players in the escalation community, but he still has Some pretty good micro, as you can see here, being very frustrating for our green player. The single flash. The thorn in his side, how many kills does it have? 5 kills already, and most of those are just mexes. So I think the flash finally will be caught. Maybe. No, it'll survive. Man, that's got to be so annoying for Tasto. He's really just trying to expand his base and get his eco going, and Race is having none of it. But Race, as I said, one of the strongest eco players, one of the strongest macro players, and he loves to stay on T1 for quite a while. Sometimes he'll have 5 or 6 factories all pumping out units, just overwhelming his opponents with sheer numbers. But Tasto has gotten a couple instigators of his own into Infidel's base. Unfortunately, he will find a commander, and that should be the end of that. That bit unlucky finding the commander there. Those instigators won't achieve too much. But yeah, in the early game, like I said, it's going to be, I think, a pretty slow start. This is not a high eco map. You will have to expand quite dramatically to really get your economy to the point that we might expect in these games where we're getting to T3 and T4. Which I have no idea what happens in this game. I have heard it's good, but I have no idea like where the game goes or how crazy things get. So we will be waiting in anticipation for that. Dark Green trying to get into Infidel's base, but Infidel is ready. He's prepared for this. Race expanding, as is his signature style. He will be simply exploding onto the map, I think, already. He's got stuff everywhere. But one thing that Race is really good at doing is not only expanding, but protecting his expansions. He's good at having the correct amount of defenses, light laser towers, defenders, and just roving armies to protect everything. So, guys, if you're a viewer, if you haven't played the mod, it may look easy, but it is really not easy whatsoever to do what Race is doing. Finding that correct balance of metal extractors to light laser towers to defenders to flashes, just kind of roaming around your base, protecting it. You know, it really is an art. There's kind of a mastery to it. Takes a lot of playing. And Race will lose that constructor, which is a bit unfortunate for him. But Tasto does take it out, and now Tasto with the first bombing run of the game. But he hits a solar collector there. Takes out a couple metal extractors or so. This is some nice line bombing. And, man, he does get a lot done with that, but a second bomber coming in. Trying to get some more damage done. Lots of energy storages here, and Tasto will see that. But Tasto keeping on the pressure. And Race not content to just be on the back foot. He wants to also counterattack and get some damage done of his own. Finally, Infidel, he's been gathering this massive K-Bot army for about, I don't know, about 13 minutes now, and he's finally ready to move in with it, but I have to say, he's walking right into Redox's trap. Redox with a couple light laser towers and some warriors, which are great on defense. Probably the best T1 unit for defense. They have a ton of health and damage. And man, those warriors are absolutely shredding through Red's army. It will push him back. You will be forced to retreat. But with the reinforcing flashes, perhaps he thinks that he can break through. It's going to be close. One light laser tower is already down. Most of the warriors are dead. Infidel certainly in a good position to perhaps break into Dark Green's base here. All the warriors have been taken out. Meanwhile, Race at the bottom of the screen with his own attack, but this one is much smaller, and there are enough light laser towers here, I think, to put a stop to this, but let's keep an eye on what Infidel's doing here at the top. This push is, it's scary. It's potentially game-ending for Dark Green. He's lost most of his defenses. There are more warriors streaming up to the top here, so maybe Dark Green will have just enough to stop this. But as you can see, he's now been backed into a corner. As a result, Red has taken out all of this, all of his eco in that area, all of his defenses. So even if Red is not able to push into the production, he's still done quite a bit. Tasto continuing with the bomber play to, at the very least, try and dissuade Race from manhandling his base. But guys, like I mentioned before, look at Race's map control. He's already in a very good position. He's already spread out quite tremendously over the map, and that just is Race's playstyle. He's now on T2. He's gone into advanced vehicles, working on his own bombers. So let's keep an eye on what Race does. Tasto with another bombing run, this time focused on Infidel. Can he do anything? He's getting a little bit of economic damage done, but mostly just mexes. Nothing too terrifying yet. But there's just not much air defense here. Could Tasto actually get some serious damage done? No, he doesn't. He does take out a few mexes, and that's annoying, but not much more than that. I think Red will be able to recover. Infidel's not even using his metal anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of a blow. But Race, on the other hand, he's struggling with energy at this moment. He has a nice army, but Tasto is also on T2, now pumping out Reapers. So I like what Tasto is doing here, and but I also like what Race is doing. He's being very cheeky, very aggressive, keeping Green busy. And it is tough to attack when Race is just in your base all the time, or at least threatening to do that. But with the Reapers and the Levelers, I think Green should have more than enough to send this attack packing. Reapers and Levelers, just a great riot combo. The riot tanks, the T1 and T2 riot tanks, just great against these large swarms of light infantry units. Light raiders. So Tasto, I think he will push Race back. Race, again, still struggling to get his eco online. He simply does not have the energy he needs to power everything that he's currently trying to produce. So interesting game for sure. It's interesting that Green has had the most aerial presence so far. Race is known for his airplay occasionally. He's got quite a few bombers, but his opponent has so many Avengers flying over the battlefield that I can't really imagine a world where those bombers get much accomplished. As long as Green has air control like this, the game is going to be tough for Race. But Race is going to try anyway. It looks like Race is still going to make his attempt with the bombers he has. But yeah, I think he's going to be going towards Dark Green. That makes more sense. Dark Green has far less air defense. I think Dark Green might even rely on Tasto to help him. We'll see here. No, Race turning his bombers back towards Tasto. But like I said, man, that was ill-advised. Tasto was just ready for that. He simply has the aerial control that he needs. And now the triple barrel Reapers making it out, making their way onto the field, and certainly giving Race a run for his money. There's quite a few defenses there, but ooh, I like what Race is doing. He's going for like a surround play, surrounding all these Reapers with T1 units, making use of his advantage, of his numbers advantage. But Redox doing his own attack, mostly of warriors and javelins here, going straight into Infidel's main base. Infidel, it doesn't even look like, is at T2. He's way behind. Economically, Infidel is just so far behind everyone else. So, I mean, Redox might even be able to get something accomplished there. We'll have to see. Most of Red's army is here at the top of the map. So can he get anything done with it? That's kind of the question, because Redox is beelining, just literally beelining straight into his production. In fact, Infidel may even have to get his commander out and get some D-gun action going on, because this many warriors, guys, there's probably at least 15 warriors or more. This many warriors is scary, and Red simply does not have the defenses he needs to stop this. In fact, there are no defenses at all. Yeah, Infidel's gonna have to use his commander. Let's slow it down, guys, because this could be a game-changing moment here. These warriors can kill a commander in seconds, but the D-gun will outrange them. So, oh man, we're gonna have to see what happens. It looks like Infidel, it looks like he's able to maybe finish this, to stop this from killing him. It certainly could have killed him. But warriors just aren't the best at sniping commanders because, again, the D-gun outranges them and they're slow. So, nice job by Red. But the problem is that Red's base has just been decimated. Some warriors made it into the top, while his commander was down here being distracted, and these warriors, I think, are simply going to evaporate his eco and a ton of his production. Ray's sending some fighters to try and help his teammate, because this is simply a disastrous situation. There's nothing else to say. This is just a terrifying, horrifying situation to be in if you're the Red player. Red's base is just in shambles here. All he really has left mostly is his production and some solar collectors. Meanwhile, Race has he has demons of his own here. Tasto has kept on the pressure. He's definitely keeping Race occupied, as he should, because as long as he can keep Race occupied, it stops Race from being able to help his teammate. And Infidel looks like he may need help desperately if things continue to go the way they have, and so I like that Tasto is trying to keep his opponent busy. But guys, still, look at Race's base. Look at this absolute fortress of metal extractors and defenses and units streaming to the front line. So even in spite of the fact that Green has kept him busy, Race is expanding out in all directions and doing what he does best, doing what he's known for, which is absolutely overwhelming his opponents with sheer production and firepower. That is what Race loves to do, and it's what he's so good at doing, and on a map like this, it allows him to simply show his stuff, and he will eventually, I think, begin to overwhelm Green. But maybe not. Tasto has been holding his own for sure. He's certainly upgraded most of his eco to T2, it looks like, which is impressive. Less than 30 minutes into the game. But, yeah, Race certainly not willing to concede the air war at all. He is going to be fighting for the skies, as he should in this kind of game, and really in any kind of game. Aerial control is so important in Escalation, and you've got to try to maintain control of that over your opponent. But man, guys, like, this game is really interesting, this 2v2, because it's an interesting case study on like the difference between two pro players versus the difference between two just average players and maybe above average players. But like you can see, look at how Race has just expanded out on the map. But also Tasto, he hasn't expanded as much, but look at how he's upgraded his economy. Like almost every extractor is a Moho extractor, and just the amount that Race and Tasto are producing compared to the top two players or the northern players it's astounding. I mean, it's kind of a night and day difference between these two bottom players, just the amount of actual production and eco they have, and also how well their bases are defended. I mean, look at Tasto's defense here. This is going to be hell to break through. Look at all the light laser towers and the Dragon's Teeth. This is just terrifying prospect to try and destroy. And then there's two immolators here in the north. So not only are these players economically so far ahead, but the way they're defending themselves is very impressive indeed. Races, Bulldogs, I think. They will get something accomplished. They'll kill a lot of these light laser towers, but ultimately there's still too much defense here. These immolators taking scalps, but even still, look at Race expanding out like a cancer, making it so hard to stop him from simply spreading to the point of no return, perhaps. But we don't want to count the Eastern team out just yet, as it seems like Redox has definitely had an advantage over Infidel for most of the game. But now Race he's also attacking in the north. Guys, look at the difference here. Dark Green has almost no defenses anywhere. He has a few light laser towers down here, but it is just such a night and day difference from Tasto's base, where he's got this whole area locked down with all kinds of immolators and light laser towers and heavy laser towers. And of course Race has his own heavy laser towers surrounded by Dragon's Teeth. And so, guys, good players, they alternate offense and defense, and they can do both at the same time. But now Dark Green, he's going to pry into Race's base and see if he can make some headway. I really think continuing to focus on red is the right call here. Race is going to be so much harder to break. Infidel has almost no defense, but yeah, Race will be able to defend this easily. The triple barrel Bulldogs and all the Freedom Fighters hovering overhead, more than enough to take out Dark Green's army. And guys, that achieved almost nothing. But then again, I guess I understand why he didn't want to send it into the bulk of Infidel's army, but nonetheless, trying to attack Race is, it almost feels like an exercise in futility at this stage of the game. But I'm going to go ahead and check out the players' bases and make sure I'm not missing anything too crucial, like a transition to T3 or long-range plasma cannons or tactical nukes or anything like that that could be a potentially game-changing a game-changing aspect. But speaking of that, there are double-barrel penetrators now being pumped out, so Race certainly getting to the late T2 stage of the game, going into the double-barrel penetrators, and now going into advanced aircraft. So we'll have to see what he wants to do. Race already on advanced K-bots and still upgrading his eco as well, but I didn't see anything too extremely game-ending. Oh, here we go. Dark Green will be the first to start moving towards T3, building that ARM Ultra K-bot assembler. But will he get done in time? Infidel's army is looking pretty scary, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I think Infidel could potentially, if he simply pushes east, he might even be able to break into Dark Green's base and kill that Ultra K-Bot assembler before it can finish. But the problem is, you know, the Western team doesn't have much scouting. They haven't been doing much recon at all, so they're not going to know that Dark Green is working on T3 yet, or that he's vulnerable. Tasto still upgrading his eco and still building those impressive fortifications. But we seem to have reached a bit of a lull in this fight, in this game, as I think Race is massing his army and still upgrading his base as well. He's just now got to, or no, he's almost on advanced air. So we'll have to see what he wants to do with what he has. But right now, I think he's just building up his force. He's not really... He's not trying to kill Tasto just yet. Tasto still with a very powerful defensive position, so I think Race at this point, he wants to make sure he has enough to try and break through before he commits to yet another attack. But man, with these double barrel penetrators and the Bulldogs, he's even got some phalanx in the mix here. He could potentially do some damage here. Race telling his teammate to go, so he's looking for some kind of combined forces attack. See if he can coordinate with his teammate. He's pushing through the bottom. But guys, this army at the bottom has to be a diversion. I don't think this is going to be able to break through. There's too much down here, but the northern army, much more terrifying. And the defenses up here are far less... far less fortified. It's a much more vulnerable position here in the north. The penetrators slowly making their way to the front line. The Bulldogs trying to kill off the chaff before the fight starts. But again, there's been a lack of scouting. Oh, here we go. Tasto looking for a counterattack on Race with these double barrel pyros. Maybe trying to distract him, get him to pull back so that he can't get into his base or Dark Green's base. This one double barrel pyro being a menace. Unfortunately, though, I think this attack by Green's attack will be cleaned up, and now Race is free to push his advantage into the heart of Green's base. There's still some defenses here, but I don't know if there's enough, guys. This is it's a scary composition, the Bulldogs and the penetrators. However, there is a single Viper up on the hill. He will need to focus that. He needs to take that out immediately. It's already doing so much damage. He's got to focus that Viper. He loses most of his Bulldogs. The Viper is taken out now, but most of his Bulldogs are gone, so this attack, I think it will be fended off just barely. Tasto pushing Race back. But does Race have a second wave? Still producing more and more units. This time focusing on the Panthers. He stopped Bulldog production. He's working on Phoenixes as well. That's quite a few Phoenixes, actually. Race has a scary bombing run. An air armada. Aerial supremacy operation incoming whenever Race is ready to pull the trigger on that. And that could also be potentially game ending if Race controls it well. But again, the Western team just... there's a lack of scouting for sure. I don't really know. I don't think they know what they're walking into, guys. They have T2 air, so Wraiths could certainly build scouts, but I don't think they know that Redox is now on T2. Or T3. He just made it, working on his first Ultra Construction K-bots. But yeah, the Eastern team definitely the first to get to T3, and yeah, Tasto also on T3. So guys, this is scary. Redox also pumping out Marauders. And I think once Wraith sees this, he's going to be panicking a little bit. He's almost on his Ultra Vehicle plant, but he's going to have to get a lot done with these Phoenixes. I think he needs to maybe focus down one of the experimental labs. Nice job. Nice bombing run there, taking out some of that army. Swinging around, going for some of the Marauders, but this can't be what he wants these bombers for. As effective as this is, I'm sure Wraiths would rather be hitting one of their bases with all this. But most of Dark Green's army has been cleaned up now. The bombers now heading south, perhaps to protect him here. Another attack moving through. Oh my goodness. Beautiful bombing play. I mean, it is keeping him alive. It is keeping the dream alive for Race, but now a toaster on the high ground there, and that thing is just going to rain down absolute hell onto all of Race's army here. Each volley is so effective, taking out hordes and hordes of units. Green's defense has just been masterful this game. Even with all the pressure Race has applied, it just hasn't been enough, and these bombers, they will be taken out before they can achieve anything that would give Race the advantage that he certainly wanted, investing all of that investing into all of that air power. But the Penetrators and the Panthers are breaking through here. They will take out this Argus. They're taking out some Moho Extractors. Race is on the verge of breaking through. Most of these defenses have been killed. There's still some Immolators. But yeah, Race is on the verge, I think, of cracking Tasto's base, but just isn't quite able to do it. Tasto holding on for dear life. Now building the triple barrel sumos, and guys, triple barrel sumos are one of the strongest defensive units in the game. They're slow, but my god, they have a huge range, and they do so much damage, and they have a massive amount of health, so sumos are like a brick wall. And if Tasto can get these down into position, it will become even harder for Race. Race, even though his eco is massive, you know, almost 100 more than anyone else, or over 100 more metal per second than any other player, Tasto has just done such a masterful job of defending, keeping Tasto from getting where he wants to be, breaking through his base. All of these well-placed Immolators and heavy laser towers, and this single toaster, like I said, is just 18 kills already. Absolute legend toaster right there. Absolute legend plasma battery. Keeping Tasto in the game, keeping him healthy, and now Tasto going for the Defiler play. Guys, I don't know about this Defiler play. So, guys, the Defiler, let's see what it's actually called in the literature. It's called the Radiation Spider. So the Defiler is like, it is a short-range radiation K-bot. And the The thing is, they're all-terrain, so they can climb over obstacles really well. They can get into the enemy base. They can get behind enemy lines really easily. But the thing is, they don't have a lot of great combat value. You really need to catch your opponent by surprise to have full effectiveness. Race attempting another attack through the north. This is certainly the weakest part of Tastos base. There's almost no defense up here at all. So Race attempting to exploit that, but there's just too much air superiority here. And I like the idea of the Defilers, but I don't think it's enough. I think this is a little bit too obvious. It's a little bit too forced. I think the Defilers are going to be stopped just short of actually reaching Race's production and dealing serious damage to him. As annoying as this may be, I think Race should be able to stop it. There's a single sumo, or no, a couple sumos that have made their way here. So, Race definitely struggling, but I think that's going to be the end of this attack. As impressive as it was a great idea. It almost worked. But Defilers are not really a, you know, frontline unit. They're not meant for direct assaults. You're usually trying to catch your opponent off guard or sneak them through. And I just don't think that's going to work. I think Tasto needs to change his strategy, maybe start producing anything else. Upgraded Talos would be good. Some Juggernauts could be effective. Even an Arbitrator. That could be really effective. So, yeah, I think Tasto needs to kind of pivot to something that's going to work here. Race is now prepared for the Defiler strategy. But, oh, hang on. There's a bombing run in the north. Redox looks to have been building this up for a while. And Infidel's air defense doesn't seem to be stellar here. He's got some flax, but does he have enough to stop this bombing run from taking out his Ultra Vehicle plant? They're committing straight to it. Oh my god, very nicely done by Dark Green. That Ultra Vehicle plant will be sent into the abyss, and that is going to really hurt Red. Red is going to struggle to reproduce that or recreate that in any reasonable amount of time, and so Dark Green has definitely struck a crippling blow to his opponent. And once again, the burden will be on Race's back to try and keep the hopes alive for the Western team. He is now pumping out Chimeras. This is the first real use of T3 that we've seen from Race, but he was very delayed in getting there. So he's made this game work on T2 primarily, but he is now on T3. We will start to see, I think, more and more Chimeras being pumped out. Race scrambling to send his Air Force south. There is yet another push of Defilers and Reapers. Once again, I think this is going to fall just short of reaching his base here. But what an epic battle in the south. What an endless epic just carnival of chaos that we have witnessed down here. Both players really playing their hearts out, keeping a nice balance of eco and production, never really falling behind. But guys, Race's economy is just starting to explode. He's now at the point where he's nearly doubling everyone else. So I think, like I said, the longer this game goes, it's better for Race. because he will continue to scale economically and then translate that into a massive advantage of just sheer firepower and production. 3 Chimeras now making it their way to the front line. Panthers and Samsons and Penetrators. Oh my. What a battle here at the bottom. But I don't know, man. 3 Chimeras. That's going to be difficult to stop. 3 Chimeras with some Penetrators. For good measure. I don't know. I think Green might have to use his commander here. These Chimera are all very healthy. And it's taken Race quite a while to get these. And they're not by any means fast, so it's taken them even longer to get to the front line. But now Green is in trouble. He needs some kind of answer. He's working on some Talos. He's got a single Talos, but yeah, this is a scary situation. Race with these Chimera, moving them north. I don't know why he's moving them north. I think he would have been better just going for the heart of Tastos base. But yeah, now he's walking into the Toasters. And he's walking into a Nova as well. But the Nova's going to have to be careful, guys. These things don't have a lot of health. They're very strong at long range, but they don't have a ton of HP, so I'm not sure what Race is doing. He now has 5 Chimera. He's moving them north, but I like I said, I'm not sure what the plan is with that. I really would have liked to see him just go straight into Tastos base. There's just not a lot here to stop them, really, except for maybe the commander. But yeah, it looks like Race just massing his army in the middle of the map. Seeing if he can display dominance that way. And of course, there's been constant fighting here at the north as well that we haven't been able to spectate all of, but it's just been very back and forth. Seems like it's been a pretty epic stalemate between these two players. The Centurion's quite beefy, but we have all these upgraded shooters as well, taking them out one after another. One shot, one kill. And now a Talos moving into Race's base, but a single Talos probably not enough to really end the game. But it frustrates me that Race, he's got all of his stuff in the middle, but I can't tell what he wants to do with it. Maybe he just wants to gather enough of an army that he feels like he can definitively win the game, that he has more than enough to simply crush his opponent. But he doesn't want to wait too long. This Talos getting some damage done. It will take out a couple bulwarks, but it will die. Now Sumo's moving in, but now all the Chimeras moving south again. Again, I'm not sure what Race is trying to do with that. If he could just take his army and move eastward, I think he might even be able to win the game. But Redox is starting to mass up the Novas here. And guys, Novas are just like walking Berthas. They have a massive amount of range. They do a ton of damage. They're fairly accurate. So if Redox gets a critical mass of those, I mean, that could also be a game-ending situation. And Race definitely needs to be more decisive with his army here. He certainly has the strongest army in the game by a large margin, but he's got to decide where he wants to go with it. He could easily walk into Dark Green's base and take out everything if he just commits to that game plan. But he could also go into Tasto's base. It would be a little more difficult, but still possible. But I think the longer he waits, the more time he gives his opponents to react. And Tasto keeping the pressure on. Sending in waves of sumos, Reapers, and Talos. Finally, Race deciding to push eastward. But man, this is almost the worst place to attack. He's got these two toasters on the hill, and then the Novas firing from the north. This is a very difficult place to push through, but not impossible. I think he has enough Chimera. If he just keeps going, he should be able to get some damage done. Scouts being flown in by Dark Green. Dark Green certainly looking for targets. He's got some Brawlers massed up. He's got some T2 Bombers as well. So Dark Green looking for targets. But finally, Race moving through. That was a decoy commander that he kills. Maybe he thought that was a real commander, but either way, these Chimeras looking scary. The Brawlers moving in. The Eastern team not willing to just let this kill them. And there's not enough air defense here. Where is Tasto's air control? Okay, he does have some Hawks. But those were pretty far back. He really was not ready for this. Those Hawks will be cleaned up almost immediately. The Nova's taking this out, and surprisingly, Race did not have the support that he needed for this to work. These Brawlers came in and took out those Chimeras without much of a reaction. So I think if Race had included the rest of his army with this, brought these Scorpions, the T3AA, into the fight, that Chimera push could have won the game. I mean, that could have easily won the game, but he doesn't support them. He just sends the Chimeras alone, without much anti-air support or air support. And man, and now these Novas are starting to get scary as they gain veterancy. 46 kills on that one, 51 on that one, and then 10 on this final one. That could be a really terrifying situation to get into. Race with a tactical nuke. Flying in. That will take out some of the defenses there, but there is also an Intimidator in the back line. But man, most of Race's army has been killed. However, he has finished an Empyrean, working on a second Empyrean. That T3.5 Menace. But it's going to take forever for those to reach the front line. Race asking his teammate where his T3 is, but Infidel almost finished with a Raptor, so he is working on some T3, but Race probably just isn't aware of the fact that Infidel lost his T3 lab earlier on with that nice bombing campaign of Dark Green. But now Race getting 2v1'd. Both players on the Eastern team attacking him simultaneously. We've got shooters, Peewees, Reapers. We've got Copperheads. We've got Sumos. And most importantly, we've got Talos. These are the upgraded Talos as well that have the green laser on their face. Man. What an absolute show we have right here. What a battle this has been. What a 2v2. Every player contributing in their own way. Trying to keep the game alive. Keep the hope alive. This Empyrean, Quite a terrifying prospect for the Eastern team to deal with, but with all these shooters, could they kill it? Oh no, they're bunched together. That Empyrean is just going to murder them. Oh my god, that Empyrean is going to murder these snipers if they do not spread out. Look at the chain reaction. Absolutely disgusting. Race bringing that T3 treaded battleship onto the field in the nick of time. The nick of time. 30 kills already. What an absolute monster. And now a second Empyrean making its way to the front. And I don't know if... I don't think the Eastern team has enough to kill these right now. These Empyreans are like T3.5 monsters. Taisto now telling his teammate to push top because he's probably decided these Empyreans are just too much of a threat, too much of a wall to really break through. But now Red has a Raptor. He's been working on this for a long time. After he lost his T3 lab, it took Red like 30 minutes to build a Raptor. He had to rebuild everything, but he finally completes it. He finally has that Raptor out onto the field. And can he kill Dark Green with this single Raptor? I mean, Dark Green still has very impressive Air Force. He's got brawlers, he's got bombers, he's got defenses, he's got this single Bertha, and oh, he's got a Raptor of his own. So I think that answers my question. Dark Green having his own Raptor, that should be more than enough to stop Red's attack. But man, what a game. There is just so much action, so much production on both sides. These two Empyreans, though, definitely a terrifying army, or a terrifying force. And yeah, once again, the top will be stalemated as it has been stalemated for most of the game, but we're gonna have to see what happens here at the bottom. Race now pushing through the middle. Chimera's an Empyrean, but he needs to have anti-air this time. He can't do what he did last time. Where are the Scorpions? Race working on a Vulcan as well. Let's keep an eye on that, because that Vulcan could be very effective in the right moment. Oh no, here comes Dark Green's bombing run. He's been building this up for quite a while. What's he going for? It looks like he's trying to go for something. Oh, he's going for the heavy fusion reactors. I don't think this is going to be anywhere near enough. It doesn't even really get them to half health. Race is just ready for that. Race, even with the Vertigos, he's on T3 air now. So Race, with supreme control of the sky, dominating the airspace, not content to let any of his opponents attack him like that. But the Vulcan will be destroyed. It looks like Green has targeted his long-range plasma cannons onto the Vulcan. But these two Empyreans still very healthy. Got some Chimera. Like I said, I'd like to see Scorpions. However, because Race has these Vertigos, the T3 air superiority fighter, he should theoretically be able to protect the Empyreans the way he could not protect the Chimera in his last attack. So maybe Race can do it. Maybe this time it will be different. Let's keep an eye on everything else going. It looks like Dark Green with this Raptor has made it all the way to the front of Red's base, and Red has a Retaliator, guys. Red with a nuke. And he's currently working on that nuke. Can he finish it in time? Currently producing it. This Raptor has destroyed Infidel's Raptor, but it's pretty low now. It's only got a smidgen of health, but guys, there may not be enough left to kill this. This Raptor is, it's a fucking war hero, man. 35 kills already. looking quite unstoppable. That one nuke, it is trying so hard to get finished, but Infidel will finish another, he will complete another Raptor just in time. Can this Retaliator do anything? Here in the south, the Empyrean's pushing through. Dark Green bringing all of his brawlers, but it'll be different this time. It will be different this time as the Vertigos fly in and take out those gunships. But oh my god, look at all the defense up here. We've got a Doomsday Machine and 2 Toasters. One Empyrean is very low. Race struggling to break through all those defenses. Man, you just can't break through. It's so close, but just barely not enough. And this will force Race to retreat with this very injured Empyrean. 118 kills on that bad boy. 44 on the other one. So, what a game this has been. Race just trying so hard to break through. And, oh my god. Are we on T4? Guys, I don't know if I don't think I've ever seen a 2v2 that reached T4 that I can remember. So we are on T4, guys. Redox is on T4. He's working on a experimental construction vehicle, and then Testa tells him to build a Super Fido. Race will want to repair these Empyreans if he can, so that he can gear up for another assault. But Race, I think now maybe going into Race transitioning into more of an aerial gameplay style, going into some Tempests. If he can get enough Tempests, he might be able to finally break through Green's base. But it's hard to say. These Novas continuing to simply be a menace. Race now repairing the Empyrean, as he certainly should. Get this thing back to a healthy fighting state. But oh my god, Testa now working on a Bastion. Almost complete with that as well. Dark Green now pushing Race with his own force. More Raptors streaming in, and these Tempests are going to have to do the Lord's work, I think. He's got to stop these Raptors from taking out his base. Red really is not going to be of much assistance. The nuke has been killed, so that's the nuclear game plan will not work out. Dark Green is pushing into Race's base. He's getting 2v1'd, desperately trying to repair these Empyreans. And there is some attacks in the bottom, but again, Race is definitely going into the air. He's transitioning into the heavy T3 air strategy, realizing that he's not going to win on the land. Trying to take control of the sky, create death from above. Oh my god. But finally, Dark Green has broken into Race's base. Race bringing the Tempests. These things are going to have to do so much work. They will eventually kill the Raptors, but man, these Raptors are so tanky. And Dark Green looking for some juicy targets, but he will lose one Raptor, and the other Raptor certainly not far behind. So Race taking to the sky, building these Tempests certainly seems to have been the right call. It allows him to defend himself, and Dark Green wastes 2 Raptors without achieving a whole hell of a lot. But now, Testa continuing to be a menace of his own. Race has some Chimera here in the bottom. The Bastion has finally been completed. And this Ultra T3 Plasma Battery defense for core is quite spectacular to see. He's got 2 of them. Race sending in a massive scouting party looking for targets of opportunity. He will see the ultra aircraft hangar. He will see the antimatter reactors. Did he see the T4 though? Did he see the T4? It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like Race is aware of that. Bringing these Empyrean in for yet another attack, but I don't know, man. There's just so much defense down here. This Empyrean once again under threat. The Toasters and the Doomsday Machine. Making life hard. The Brawlers also streaming in. They would be so happy if they could finish this monster off. Now the Harpies flying in as well. Burning the Empyrean alive. It is such a tanky beast, but I think finally it will go down. And that will mark the end of an era for Race. All these Dragon's Teeth are just such a problem for him. Even if he had the force he needed to break through here, the Dragon's Teeth are so difficult to get through, and man, there's enough air defense here that these Tempests, they die almost instantly. So Race, I think, is just struggling to find an answer, begging his teammate to do something. Infidel pleading that he's trying to do something. But man, this is just, it's such a difficult situation to be in for Race. It feels like he's already tried everything to break through. He's built the Empyreans, he's built the Chimeras, he's built the Tempests. He's thrown everything at his opponents. He's thrown everything but the kitchen sink, and just has not been able to make any headway. He's been getting 2v1 for most of the game. Meanwhile, his his ally has just not even building anything. Okay. Yeah. Infidel will simply just give Race his units, I think, deciding that maybe Race can use them better than he could. It's actually hard to say. But yeah, nonetheless, Race will be gifted all of his team's base. And the Eastern team looking for an opportunity to take advantage of this short period of transition, or the short chaotic moment. But guys, I've seen Race win 2v1s before. Race is more than capable of winning 2v1s. And I think Race will be much stronger now that he actually has Red's base, because he'll just have so much more production. So much more eco and so much more agency in this game. But there is now finally that Centaur, the Super Fido, on the field, and unfortunately Race has only had Infidel's base for a few seconds. He has not had time to produce the kind of defenses that he will need. He's already working on this Annihilator, but it's just, he's just now starting it, and the Super Fido is moving quickly in that direction. So the southern part of Race's base is very well protected, and that's unlikely to be broken through. He's got 4 tactical nukes just ready to overwhelm his opponents with payload after payload. But unfortunately here in the north, he has not had time to shore up his defenses at all. Red will send his commander in, and it will get destroyed before he can get a D-gun off. So, Race with all these vertigos, he will try to push this back. There's not a lot of air defense in the area. Holy shit, Race is such a pro, man. Using those vertigo to try and push this back long enough. That single Empyrean now making its way north, but Guys, I think this can't be anything more than a distraction because it has no support at all. Dark green will simply overwhelm it with sheer firepower. But it is taking out the Ultra K-Bot assembler. Even if it is a distraction, it is a very effective distraction. Infidel leaves the game. The Empyrean, man, it's getting a lot of work done, guys. It's getting more work done than I might have actually expected it to do, to be honest with you. What a game this is. What a game. This Empyrean still alive, still chugging, still making its way into Dark Green's base, trying to get as much damage as it can. 257 kills is the official score before it is finally and unceremoniously destroyed. Unfortunately, however, the Centaur has returned, and it is now going to target the remnants of Infidel's base, and Race simply has not had time to secure it because he's getting attacked in the south and the north. He's getting 2v1'd, and this Centaur, I think, might just win the game on its own. The Super Fido, absolute beast. It will take out that Ultra Fusion, the Raptor here as well. And unfortunately, I think Race may begin to crumble, even though he got quite a bit of damage done with that Empyrean. His opponents are on T4. Now they already have a second Centaur finished. And the first Centaur is still very healthy. It's got, let's see, 132 kills to its name. I think that may cause Race to simply tap out. He does have a Centaur of his own, so maybe he could stop this. Unfortunately, his opponent's Centaur has veterancy and he has a Raptor, so Race's Centaur won't even stand a chance to that. And yeah, Race saying in the chat, Infidel is useless. I definitely think the Eastern team had better teamwork. I think Race was probably the MVP, but the Eastern team certainly played together better. And guys, in a team game, it's almost always about who has a better teamwork. So, guys, I hope you appreciated this. We don't often see 2v2 games that reach tier 4. So that was quite a treat, very back and forth game, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next cast.